Episode 1. The Man They All Admire. The women at Prescott Tech had never seen anything like it. Every new hire was always met with some level of curiosity, especially if they were as handsome as Noah Pierce. But Noah was different. It wasn't just his looks that captivated everyone. It was something deeper, more profound, yet intangible. Noah joined the marketing department as a manager and quickly became a subject of discussion among the female employees. From day one, his polite demeanor and seemingly effortless charisma drew attention. He wasn't like the other men in the office, who engaged in mindless flirtation or made crass jokes. Noah was quiet, thoughtful, always quick to lend a hand, and carried himself with a calm confidence that many found irresistible. Within a week, it seemed like every woman in the building had something to say about Noah.
"Did you see the way he smiled at me in the hallway?"
whispered Sarah, a data analyst, during lunch in the break room.
"I asked him for help with my presentation, and he went out of his way to make sure I got it right,"
said Jenna, one of the project managers.
"I swear, there's something different about him. He's not like other guys,"
added Natalie, the head of human resources, her eyes lighting up. As days passed, the intrigue surrounding Noah only grew. Women from different departments found excuses to visit the marketing team. Some asked for professional advice, others invited him to company outings, and a few even made subtle advances. But no matter the approach, Noah remained friendly yet distant. He accepted their compliments with grace, but never took the bait. It was almost as if he was impervious to their charms. What the women didn't realize was that Noah's heart was set on something far beyond mere attraction. Episode 2. A Silent Mystery. Despite the office gossip and increasing attempts to get closer to him, Noah remained an enigma. His responses to invitations for drinks after work were always polite, but firm.
"I appreciate the offer, but I have some things to take care of tonight,"
he would say with a gentle smile. His rejection never felt personal, yet it was always clear. Noah was not interested in pursuing anything beyond professional relationships. This intrigued the women even more. Why would someone like him, handsome, successful, and kind, keep his distance? His reluctance only seemed to heighten the desire of those around him. One evening, after a particularly long day, Jenna decided to make a bold move. She caught him by the elevators and asked him out directly.
"Hey, Noah. I was wondering if you'd like to grab dinner sometime. Maybe this Friday?"
she said, her voice both confident and nervous. Noah looked at her for a moment, his expression kind but serious.
"I appreciate the invitation, Jenna. Really, I do. But I'm not looking for that kind of relationship."
Jenna blinked in confusion.
"Oh, no worries,"
she said, trying to hide her embarrassment.
"I just thought, well, you might want to hang out."
Noah smiled, though his eyes carried a weight she couldn't quite understand.
"I enjoy our conversations at work, but outside of that, I'm focused on other things right now."
With that, he left Jenna standing by the elevator, her mind spinning. What was Noah focused on? Why wasn't he interested? The more Noah evaded romantic advances, the more curious and frustrated the women at work became. Episode 3. The Unwavering Heart. Weeks passed, and the mystery surrounding Noah deepened. By now, it had become almost a competition between some of the women at Prescott Tech. Sarah, Jenna, Natalie, and even a few others had each made their own subtle, and not so subtle, attempts to win him over. Natalie, being in HR, had the advantage of casual check-ins. She often lingered a little too long during her visits to the marketing department, hoping that Noah might notice her efforts. She even arranged a team-building exercise that conveniently paired them together. But each time, Noah's attention seemed focused solely on the task at hand. Jenna, not one to give up easily, invited Noah to a charity event. He declined, saying he had church on Sunday mornings and needed his evenings to prepare. This sparked more curiosity. What kind of man chose church over a fun night out? Sarah, meanwhile, found herself obsessively analyzing every interaction with Noah. She knew something was different about him, something deeper than just the usual office banter. It was almost as if Noah was guarding his heart, and the more she thought about it, the more it intrigued her. But what none of them realized was that Noah's heart wasn't simply closed off, it was waiting. And while every woman in the office seemed determined to win him over, Noah remained unmoved by their attempts, quietly holding on to a hope they couldn't see. Episode 4: Whispers and Wondering. The office had become a hotbed of speculation. By now, the women had started to talk among themselves, comparing notes on their interactions with Noah. They couldn't understand why he wasn't falling for any of their advances.
"He's got to be hiding something,"
Sarah whispered one afternoon in the break room.
"Maybe he's secretly dating someone outside the office." "No way. I checked his social media,"
Jenna chimed in.
"He doesn't even post anything personal. It's all Bible verses and quotes about faith."
Natalie, who had overheard the conversation, added,
"I think it's more than that. He's always talking about his church. Maybe he's, like, super religious."
The word spread quickly, and before long, everyone was speculating about Noah's spirituality. But instead of dampening their interest, it only intensified it. Now, the women were not only captivated by his looks and kindness, but they were also curious about the faith that seemed to set him apart. One evening, after another rejection from Noah, Jenna confronted him.
"Why are you always so distant, Noah?"
she asked.
"It's like you're not even interested in anyone here."
Noah paused, his gaze soft but resolute.
"It's not that I'm not interested in people, Jenna. I just have different priorities. There's something, or someone, I'm waiting for."
Jenna's curiosity piqued even more.
"What do you mean?" "You'll understand in time,"
he said with a smile.
"But right now, I'm focused on my future."
Episode 5: The Revelation. The weeks had stretched into months, and the mystery surrounding Noah Pierce had only deepened. The office buzzed with speculation. To many, he was an enigma, a man who commanded attention without even trying, a man every woman wanted to be around, but who seemed unaffected by their advances. There was a quiet aura about him, something almost sacred, that set him apart from every other man at Prescott Tech. As the sun dipped below the horizon one late Friday evening, the office was mostly empty. The end of the quarter was approaching, and only a few employees stayed behind to finish last-minute reports and presentations. Among them were Sarah, Jenna, and Natalie, the trio who had grown closer over the past few months, united by their shared curiosity about Noah. They had seen each other's attempts at gaining his attention fail spectacularly. Now, all they wanted was to know why. Sarah sat at her desk, staring at her computer screen, but not really seeing anything. Her mind was elsewhere, swirling with thoughts about Noah. She had asked him out to lunch 2 weeks ago, casually suggesting they grab a bite together during their break. He had turned her down, politely as always, but with a firmness that left no room for negotiation.
"I really appreciate the offer, Sarah, but I have something else to take care of,"
he had said with that same serene smile, the kind that never faltered, never wavered. What was it he had to take care of? She wondered now. Every time she asked, the answer was always the same. But she had checked his calendar. There were no meetings scheduled during lunch that day. Was he lying? Or was there something deeper going on?
"Are you still thinking about Noah?"
Jenna's voice broke through Sarah's thoughts as she approached her desk, coffee cup in hand. Sarah sighed, pushing her chair back slightly.
"Isn't everyone?"
she muttered. Jenna laughed lightly, sitting on the edge of Sarah's desk.
"I'm telling you, there's something going on with him. No guy is this immune to us. I mean, come on."
She gestured to herself and Sarah, both confident successful women who rarely faced rejection.
Yeah,
Sarah agreed.
but it's like he doesn't care about any of that. I've never met a man who just
She paused, searching for the right words.
isn't interested.
Natalie walked over, having overheard their conversation. She crossed her arms, leaning against the desk beside them.
Maybe he's just not into anyone here.
She said, though the words didn't carry much conviction.
Or
Jenna said with a sly smile.
he's into someone we don't know about.
The three women exchanged glances, the same thought clearly crossing all their minds. Who was this woman that could capture Noah's heart, if she even existed? They had talked endlessly about it in the past few weeks, speculating over coffee breaks and during after-work drinks. They had considered every possibility. Maybe he was secretly seeing someone outside of work. Maybe he was just incredibly shy. Or maybe, as Natalie had suggested once, he was celibate for religious reasons.
But he's never said anything about being in a relationship, has he?
Jenna asked, her eyes narrowing as she thought about it.
No,
Sarah replied.
he never talks about his personal life, really. Just church stuff sometimes. Church,
Natalie repeated, almost to herself. The word hung in the air for a moment, and the conversation took a more serious turn.
You think it's some kind of religious thing?
Jenna asked. Natalie shrugged.
It's possible. He's mentioned his faith a few times, and I've seen him reading his Bible during lunch. Maybe there's more to it than we realize.
Sarah leaned back in her chair. Her curiosity piqued again.
I don't know, but I think we need to find out.
The three women sat in contemplative silence for a moment, the hum of the office air conditioning the only sound in the background. Finally, Jenna broke the silence.
What if we just ask him?
She suggested. Sarah raised an eyebrow.
Ask him what? Hey, Noah, why are you ignoring all the women in the office who are clearly interested in you?
Jenna grinned.
Something like that.
Natalie shook her head.
It's not that simple, Jenna. He's always been so guarded. You can't just come out and ask him point blank. Maybe not,
Jenna said.
But I think if we approach him the right way, he might open up. I mean, he's nice to all of us. He might appreciate us being direct.
Sarah hesitated. She had always been more cautious, less inclined to make bold moves like Jenna. But the idea of finally getting some answers was tempting.
Let's just go talk to him,
Jenna urged.
What's the worst that could happen?
With a deep breath, Sarah nodded.
Okay, fine. Let's do it.
The three of them stood up, gathering their belongings as they prepared to leave the office for the night. Noah was still in his office, working quietly at his desk. His door was slightly ajar, and the soft glow of his desk lamp illuminated his figure. As they approached, Jenna knocked lightly on the doorframe. Noah looked up, his expression warm as always.
Hey, ladies,
he said, leaning back in his chair.
What's up?
The three women exchanged glances before Jenna took the lead, stepping into the office with Sarah and Natalie following behind.
Mind if we talk for a minute?
Jenna asked.
Of course,
Noah replied, gesturing for them to take a seat.
What's on your mind?
Jenna hesitated for a moment, then decided to go for it.
Noah, we've been wondering about something for a while now, and we thought it'd be better to just ask you directly.
Noah raised an eyebrow, clearly intrigued.
Okay,
he said slowly.
Ask away.
Jenna took a deep breath.
Why are you so distant? I mean, every woman in this office is practically throwing themselves at you, and you've turned every single one of us down. We're just trying to understand why.
There it was, out in the open. Sarah and Natalie both held their breath, waiting for Noah's response. For a moment, Noah was silent. He looked at each of them in turn, as if weighing his words carefully. Finally, he spoke.
I've noticed,
he said, his tone gentle,
that a lot of people here have been trying to get closer to me. And I want you to know that I really appreciate all of you. You're all amazing women, and I have nothing but respect for you. But, he continued, I'm not looking for a relationship right now. At least, not the kind of relationship that most people are thinking about.
Sarah frowned, confused.
What do you mean?
Noah leaned forward slightly, resting his elbows on his desk.
I'm looking for something different,
he explained.
I believe that God has a specific plan for my life, and that includes the person I'm supposed to be with. I'm not interested in casual dating or hookups. I'm waiting for the woman that God has set aside for me, the one I'm meant to marry and build a family with.
The room fell silent, the weight of Noah's words sinking in. Sarah, Jenna, and Natalie exchanged glances, each processing what he had just said.
You're waiting for your future wife?
Natalie asked, her voice soft. Noah nodded.
Yes. I've made a commitment to myself and to God that I won't pursue any romantic relationships until I know I've found the right person. And until then, I'm content to wait.
Jenna blinked, clearly taken aback.
But how do you know when you've found the right person?
Noah smiled, a hint of sadness in his eyes.
I don't know yet. But I have faith that when the time is right, God will make it clear.
For a long moment, none of the women spoke. They had all expected some kind of explanation, but this was far deeper than anything they had anticipated.
So you're not interested in any of us because we're not, her?
Sarah asked, trying to make sense of it all. Noah shook his head gently.
It's not that I'm not interested in you as people. I think you're all incredible. But I'm looking for something specific, something that goes beyond attraction or compatibility. I'm looking for the woman God wants me to be with, and until I find her, I'm not pursuing anything else.
The women sat in stunned silence, the realization slowly sinking in. This wasn't about them, or their attractiveness, or their personalities. Noah's heart was set on something far greater than any of them had imagined.
I know it might sound strange,
Noah continued,
but I believe that love isn't just about finding someone you connect with. It's about finding the person you're meant to build a life with, the person you're meant to serve God with. And that's what I'm waiting for.
Sarah, Jenna, and Natalie exchanged glances once more. There was nothing left to say. They had finally gotten their answer, and it was more profound than any of them had expected. As they stood to leave, Noah smiled warmly at them.
Thank you for asking, he said. I know it wasn't easy.
Jenna nodded, still processing everything.
Thanks for being honest with us, Noah.
As they walked out of his office, the women couldn't help but feel a strange mix of emotions, admiration, confusion, and maybe even a little disappointment. But most of all, they felt a newfound respect for Noah. He wasn't just the man every woman wanted. He was the man who wanted something far more meaningful than any of them had realized.